Ramon, Wesley, and Urs were just praying that I was dropping out of this Olympia and retiring.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the champ. The man who has been the standard for classic physique for 5 years now, going for his 6th Miss Olympia title, calling out all his biggest rivals, namely Ramondino, Vasivizers, and Ursula Shinsky, as they are the ones who started this rumor that cbum is gonna announce that either he is retiring or moving to men's open bodybuilding this year. That Gymshark announcement, that was what cbum was talking about here.
I had like everyone thinking I was going to retire, I wasn't going to compete this year, I was moving to the open, and I know those were all rumors that Ramon, Wesley, and Urs were just praying that I was dropping out of this Olympia and retiring. But join Gymshark, athlete, owner, next chapter.
Now, obviously that was a joke, but also a nicer way to tell his competition that maybe they just need to wait 1 more year before thinking about getting that classic physique Olympia title. Or maybe he won't even retire this year. Maybe he will wait till 2025 Miss Olympia, because originally that was his plan. Plus, fact of the matter is, he just became a part owner of this billion-dollar brand, and it would only help him if he stays at the top for another year. And it's not like the guy is pushing 40. For those of you guys who do not know, he's gonna be turning 30 next year, which means he has plenty of time to take good care of his body after he says goodbye to the sport of bodybuilding for good. Plus, the fact is you are gonna stay relevant in the sport of bodybuilding as long as you are in it. Now, we did get a glimpse of how things are looking with Chris Bumstead right now. So the man looks huge and in a very decent condition. I'm pretty sure that cbum runs the least amount of stuff, least amount of gear, especially in the off season. But somehow he still makes some decent improvements every single time. So he's mentally such a strong individual. And that autoimmune disease, which cbum fought in 2018 and still got to the Olympia stage and placed 2nd, that only made him stronger. Plus, he also won the Olympia title with a bicep tier in 2022. And last year he won it with a lat tier. So it is gonna be extremely hard to beat him if he is on his A game, if he brings his all-time best, which I know makes it kinda boring, but it is what it is.
He raves about Andrew Jack. I know how he's training right now in California.
All the credits to Ron Harris for getting Jay Cutler on board for this interview. So Cutlercast also comes out every week, but there we mostly hear Milos' opinion on almost every bodybuilding related topic. So if you are a bodybuilding fan, which I'm sure all of you guys are, then you guys must check out this video of Jay Cutler. Because Jay broke down every single top individual who is gonna be at this year's Miss Olympia stage, especially in the men's open bodybuilding, the guys who are gonna be in the first call out. So let's talk about his comments about Andrew Jack. So as we already know, Andrew is going through that training camp with Chris Lewis aka Psycho Fitness, and he must be doing all the things necessary to get more polished, to carve out all that fine detail. Because the thing is, Andrew stayed in a pretty decent shape after winning Texas Pro this year, a win that was so damn dominant. And I'm gonna go as far as saying this, his win at this year's Texas Pro, that was one of the most dominant ones this year, along with Hadi Chopin's win at this year's Arnold, especially the one in Columbus. So what is Andrew himself and his team, Chris Lewis and Chris Aceto, are expecting from him this year? Well, here is the inside scoop from Jay Cutler that Chris Aceto is looking to win the Olympia title this year. And after what he was able to accomplish with John Roden back in 2018, one should never ever take Chris Aceto's words lightly.
He's very dialed in, and he has his eyes on this Olympia prize. And I really think, they're predicting a victory. Man, that would be something if we saw Andrew, catapult himself from, what was he, 5th last year to all the way to winning. I mean, that would be an incredible move up.
So if we take a look at his physique right now, Andrew has 3 shots that are probably gonna be the best in the game in this year's Olympia lineup: the front double biceps, the front lat spread, and the abs and thigh shot. And honestly, he has only one very weak shot now, and that is the side chest. His side tricep now is pretty decent. So if he can make some posing adjustments for this year's Miss Olympia, he can really make the judges draw their eyes towards him throughout the show. So Andrew is a little behind on his YouTube as he's posting videos from his stay in Dubai. But even in that holding phase, he's pushing some seriously heavy weights. Next up is the update from Samson Dao. And it's not the first time we have seen Samson wake up in the middle of the night when he is this close to the show because he is so hungry. And it's really admirable to see him suffering to get that extra conditioning to go that extra mile, that kind of separation and detail that he needs to be in the contest for the Olympia title this year against guys like Derek and Hadi Choopan. So that is a 300 pounds bodybuilder, and one cannot even imagine that he is going more than 12 hours of the day without any carbs, because the thing is he gets no carbs during that breakfast. And the great thing is that his current coach, who is his wife, she made sure that there are no snacks or foods in his kitchen. So if he wakes up in the middle of the night, he finds nothing to eat anyway.
Man does not leave any food in the house. None whatsoever. There's no snacks, there's no rice cakes, there's no treats, there's no fruits, there's no easy thing, there's nothing in the house to eat. So when you wake up at the middle of the night and your stomach is banging away and you just can't sleep, and you come downstairs to the kitchen and you're thinking, man, I'm going to check the cupboards, I might be able to find something. You're wasting your time.
So we are now 20 days out of this year's men's open bodybuilding prejudging, and this is that time that truly tests your mental strength. So it is gonna be a lot of suffering for at least another 1.5 weeks for Samson Dao from here onwards, because the reason he showed up at his all-time best at this year's Arnold UK earlier this year, that was due to the fact that they decided not to carb him up as aggressively as Milos Sarcev, his former coach, used to do. So that is something which worked really well for Samson, and I think they're gonna stick to that strategy. So I still do not think that Samson needs to be in that Hadi or Derek-like conditioning in order to win the Olympia title. Or in other words, I'm gonna say it's probably not possible for him to get in that sort of condition, because the thing is he will lose all his pop, all his fullness, and most of his wow factor. But again, he doesn't need to be in that sort of condition. He just needs to close that gap. Another update from the mutant Nick Falker, which shows us almost nothing. But the caption is kinda intriguing, that Nick is confident that his quads will be improved for this year's Mr. Olympia, and his waist will be more tapered down. And that is something that Hal Mannion pointed out after the New York Pro this year, that Nick did improve his legs. He did improve his outer sweep for this year's New York Pro, but because his waist looked a little bit wider, that just did not help his X-frame at all. So Nick Falker right now seems very confident about the package that him and Matt Jensen are bringing to this year's Mr. Olympia stage. And yes, I know he is at a structural disadvantage, but we know that he is so consistent with his conditioning, with his ability to peak 100% right, and that too in almost every single show that he enters.
And I'm very confident in the package that we're going to be bringing this year. I know it'll be better than, obviously what I will be from New York.
So he did not dominate the New York Pro this year by any means, especially the way people were expecting him to. And that is one of the reasons why he isn't making top 3 or top 4 in any of the Olympia predictions so far. But the thing is, Nick Falker is still 100% confident that he is gonna be so much better than what we saw at this year's New York Pro in just a few more weeks' time. Now he isn't being considered a superstar as he preps for his 3rd ever Olympia competition, but he is ready to shock the entire bodybuilding world in 20 days' time.
It's okay that I'm not, in the middle of the limelight this year. I kind of like that. I like being the underdog as well. But I'm just going to continue to do what I do best. And that's continue to shut everyone up. That's continue to shock everybody.
Looking at this recent 3 weeks out physique update from Behrooz, it just kills us as a fan that this physique won't be on the Olympia stage for the 3rd time in a row. And it won't be compared in that first call out. And the thing is, that first call out thing, that isn't just coming from his coach Milos. Even Chris Cormier also mentioned that Behrooz is going to be in the top 6 if he is able to make it to the States. So when we talk about a great first impression, we talk about Derek, Andrew, Samson and Hadi Choopan, because these guys have very impressive front relaxed pose. Behrooz Tabani should also be considered among those guys based on this front relaxed pose. He has such a tiny waist, huge wide lats, and now that his quads have improved a lot, he is such an impressive bodybuilder to look at. So Behrooz Tabani could have competed against Hunter Labrada at Italy Pro this year, and the main reason they chose not to was based on the assumption that maybe he will get the visa to the US, and if he did Italy Pro as well, that could have been just too much stress on his body, since he already did 3 shows prior to that this year. So if Behrooz Tabani would have won all 3 of those shows, I am sure there would not have been any complaints. So this guy deserves to be on the Olympia stage. But as of right now, the chances are looking very, very slim. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.